Welcome back to another FPL reaction stream, heading into Game Week 17, looking ahead to all the action that just happened in Game Week 16, and the Sunday games absolutely killed me. I was looking fairly decent, especially after the vice-captaincy moved to Salah, but the rank has gone down by 200,000 places roughly, so it has been a rough week or so with the midweek matches in Game Week 16 or Game Week 15, and now in Game Week 16 at the weekend. It hasn't been too great recently, but it is what it is. There is still plenty of time to bounce back, but the last two game weeks have been very disappointing. Only 40 points, and if it wasn't for the Salah vice-captaincy, this could have been an absolute disaster. Then again, if Haaland had played, he probably would have scored anyway, but 914 points overall. My rank is close to 1 million, so it's not looking too good, but there is still not much separating all the ranks at this stage, and still a lot of opportunities to climb the ranks, so I'll be going through the ideas and ways of doing so. There's also going to be UCL fantasy content, so today I uploaded a best limitless team video, so it's a double upload with this stream, and tomorrow yet another double upload. You're going to get the best wildcard team for match day 6 in UCL fantasy and the team selection, and then on the Tuesday it's going to be a deadline stream from 3:30 p.m. UK time up until the early kickoffs around 5:45 p.m. so we're going to be live for 2 hours and a half basically, and it will be a lot of fun. Official Kyle puts his team and he triple captain Salah, so fair play. AGDC says, like the stream, as soon as you step in, you filthy animals. Exactly that. Enjoy the Christmas period, of course, and check out AGDC's channel. It's a really good one, and you won't regret it at all. It's also, there's a link to it in my page if you check out the recommended channels. Bilal says, hi Dylan, I saw how much you were tempted by getting Pedro Porro in last stream, so I got him myself. Though it hurts that he lost a clean sheet in the 90 plus minutes, I will take the 5 points. Yeah, that's the problem with Pedro Porro. It's just Spurs defensively still leak so many chances, but his attacking potential is absolutely insane, and with the fixtures long term, I think he's a great option as a result. If Spurs can suddenly add some clean sheets on top of it, we could be looking at 12 pointers from him from time to time. I'm looking to buy him in very soon, and even if I did it this week, I would have gained a few points, because you can see there, Lascelles -1. It would have been Pedro Porro instead of him, so a difference of 6 points or so, but it is what it is. Lipik says 66 points overall, 45,000 in the world. That's good stuff. Cylindra says, hey Dylan, 66, another one. Finally, a good game week and up to 500k. Really good stuff from both of you. Haaland captain with Bowen, vice captain. I do feel your pain. I honestly thought West Ham would score. I'm very surprised by Fulham's turnaround in the last week. 2 5-0 wins in a row. You've got to give them credit. Jarrod Bowen, he missed a big chance in the first half, but as soon as you saw Fulham go 3-0 up before half-time, you kind of feared the worst there. Aviad says, hey Dylan, in the cup, I finished draw points. What happens now? Penalties? I'm not sure exactly how it works, but if we actually break it down, I think it comes down to certain things like a virtual coin toss at one stage, but there might be something just before that. I'm just trying to nail it on. Are you sure this exact same points? Because there are bonus points still coming in. That's not updated on the app, so bear that in mind. Love your intro beats. Thank you very much, son. All the credit goes to my cousin who made the song. It's a very good one. Patrick says, hi Dylan, worth taking on Son for Martinelli this week since he's going to the Asian Cup soon. It means that if I do that move, I have to do a -4 next week to get him Watkins for Darwin. I'm not really too against that anyway. With Martinelli, he has been good for Arsenal even this season, but the output hasn't been there, especially in the Premier League. So I think it's certainly worth it. And Son, there aren't many midfielders who are better than him. Only Salah, and then you could make a case for Saka. I still think Saka's more consistent, and long-term he's the better pick, especially because of the Asian Cup. But up until Game Week 21, there's a valid case to go for Son instead. Ideally, you'd have both, but Son in for Martinelli is a no-brainer, even if it incurs a -4 hit to get Watkins in. Do you think I should do Mitchell to Porro? Yeah, I'd still do it. I know Doggy scored today, but you could still get off him in the coming weeks and go to another defender entirely, whether it's Trent. Trippier's still a good option, and Saliba long-term will still be a great choice. But yeah, Porro is probably one of the best defenders to buy right now. I've been saying it for the last week or two. No clean sheets, but he's getting the assists. 66 points, another one with 66. 8k in the world, really good stuff. Some great ranks in the live chat, which is refreshing to see. Why saying, look at my team in the Discord server. I'll try to do that after the stream. If possible, I'll try to bring it up now, but it might be a bit difficult. Still can't find any problem for my team. Yeah, but Wei-Seng, I think you said something like that, and Son ended up coming clutch for you. I think that's the only thing I remember, that you had Son still. So I wasn't really buying your words of doom, because it always happens. You say your team's terrible, and then you get like a late big haul on the Sunday, so I wouldn't be too concerned. Your team is still fairly good, of course, and that's why Son came up clutch. I want to watch live, but I'm doing this Match of the Day challenge like always. We'll have to watch after. No worries, Keith. It's always appreciated. I haven't done the Match of the Day challenge yet, and to be honest, I never watch Match of the Day when Arsenal lose. B-Ball Checkmate says, hey Dylan, I have Trippier, and he got booked, but I think the best solution is to hold to bench and sell Anderson to get Borro. Any thoughts on this? Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Yeah, I'd still hold Trippier. I know he's been disappointing in the last week. He's been involved in a lot of the goals that Newcastle have conceded. 2 against Everton and at least 1 today. Son had him on toast, but yeah, I'd rather sell Anderson for sure. Trippier's still a good choice. Trent right now is the best defender in the game, but Trippier is still right up there. I'm so confident with my team before the game week. Yeah, I mean, I actually talked about this in my team selection because basically every single player was away from home. I wasn't expecting much, but I was expecting a little bit more than 40 points, and it really came down to a big captaincy haul. Most of my players blanked, so it was very disappointing to say the least. Oasis, Sonaldo, vice captain, unintentionally lol. We take it. Huge swing from 1.5 million to 940k. Good stuff. And yeah, I think those that had Son or Salah vice captain, you're laughing really. What's up, guys? Sonny saved my week. I think that's a reoccurring theme here. I am probably going to try get him in at some point and see if he can do it for me. I'm actually looking back to when I had him early in the season, and he wasn't that great for me, if I remember correctly. Senesi for me has saved my season. Yeah, Senesi scored a couple of goals recently. He came with a big reputation. It was very surprising from Argentines, you know, for him to go to Bournemouth. But I have to say, Iraola in the last couple of weeks has really turned it around, and they're looking very strong. An amazing performance and result at Old Trafford. Wei Seng says 42 points all out, still a red arrow after the wild card dropped to 2.3 million. Yeah, it's not ideal, but at least Son minimised the damage there. E. Mercer, should I wildcard now, or is there any advantage to waiting? My team is fairly template apart from no Trippier or Son. Well, it's difficult for me to say without knowing your team and what transfers you want to make, but I think there is still merit to using it now. I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter who still have the wildcard in the back pocket looking to use it right now. You have a few options. You can dead end your team into Game Week 18 and then wildcard out of it, or you can wildcard now and it can help you navigate Game Week 18. And I think with Haaland potentially missing Game Week 17, it's a good time to take him out, and then you can buy the likes of Trippier and Son. Happy Human says, I could do Trippier to Pedro Porro and Archer to Watkins for a -4. That would leave me with exactly 0 million in the bank. As much as I like Trippier, the fact you're getting Borro and Watkins, I think it is worth it. Now, if you've already got a very solid midfield and forward line, you don't need the 8 attackers, in my opinion. But I think it's a really good hit and it's worthwhile. SJ says, oh my god, not sure what that's in reference to, but we'll find out maybe later on. J Wall 10 says 60 points this week after bonus. That's good stuff. Salah captain and Son carried my game week. Yeah, I think those of you with Son and Salah are really laughing this week. Is Trippier suspended now because he has 5 yellows? Yes, yes, and that's why to the other person I just mentioned, I think it was Happy Human. Not Happy Human. Let me actually just get the name up. Yeah, it was Happy Human. Yeah, for his question, that's another reason why I would go for the -4. I still like Trippier long term though, and if you can afford to bench him, I think it's worth keeping him. But in situations like Happy Humans, I think a hit is even worthwhile this week. Need to bin Mbumo today with Game Week 18 in mind, who to get 6.9 million and under. Have Gordon and Palmer, thinking Douglas Luiz as he won't be suspended. Yeah, Douglas Luiz is not a bad option to buy in Game Week 18, but yeah, for me, Gordon and Palmer are still the top 2 standouts. Hwang Hee-chan I also like, but the problem with him is the suspension risk up until his 19th game, and also he's going off to the Asian Cup in Game Week 21. So he's a very short-term pick, and you're going to be getting rid of him soon. So I'd go for Gordon or Palmer. I prefer Gordon overall, but as we mentioned a few times in the last week, Newcastle are 16th in the league table away from home, and with the likes of Gordon, a lot of their returns will come at St James's Park, so that's going to be the caveat. And with Palmer, Chelsea are just dreadful all over the board, so it's a tricky one, but I'd still rather go for Gordon. Newcastle assets a bit overrated now, in my opinion. Too many fixtures, players look knackered. I mean, they have a lot of injuries as well, we have to be fair to them, but all season they have been suspect away from home. That's why they've got 1 win on their travels, and at St James's Park it's a fortress and they're able to grind out results there, but not away from home. And I think in terms of overrated, it's a subjective thing really. I mean, are they the best assets in the world? No, but Trippier is still top 2, top 3 defenders in FPL. Gordon is one of the best budget midfielders or medium price midfielders. And as for Isak Wilson, there's always going to be problems there with rotation. Wilson came off the bench and got an assist at the end. So yeah, with Lascelles, for example, I mean, he's just in my team because he's so cheap and he has done fairly well for me. But I'm looking at my other defenders, Anderson and Cash, and they are bigger priority sells than Lascelles. So pardon the pun. So yeah, it's all subjective, I think. 64 points, no Haaland in my team. Haaland in after Game Week 18. Yeah, I think those that don't have Haaland obviously are in a good position this week because you can just forget about him up until Game Week 19. So yeah, I think you just forget about him really. He has a chance of missing Game Week 17 against Palace. Then you've got the blank in Game Week 18 as Man City go to the Club World Cup. So yeah, I think that makes sense. 64 points, by the way, is very good. Blaze with 57 points says, I'll take the green arrow. Of course, who wouldn't? Son and Salah masterclass, but not sure what to do with Haaland next game week. It's obviously tricky. This is a reaction stream, so I'm going to give you my current thoughts right now. And with these kind of injuries that we always get at the beginning of the week, my advice generally is to just hold, wait for more information. I'm going to say the same thing. We've got a midweek Champions League game, so if Haaland's not in the squad yet again, and if Guardiola provides a concrete update, which is very rare and very unlikely, then maybe that can inform our decisions and we can make a final choice by the end of the game week heading into Game Week 17. But for now, I would hold. My guess, based on the reliable sources I've seen on Twitter, is that Haaland will miss out against Crystal Palace, and also he's going to blank in Game Week 18 anyway, so he could be a worthwhile sell. But for now, I'd hold, wait for more information, because for me, information is king. Trippier out for a -4. Depends who you're selling to and what you're doing with the extra money. There's a lot of different things attached to that. Son clutch as hell. Unfortunately, yes, it's a shame. Good thing I didn't go for Reece James in the end. Yeah, and this is what I mean about Reece James. I think the fact that he had that injury problem heading into Old Trafford and he was on the bench as a result, I think that's already a big warning sign. And you've seen his history throughout the last couple of years. He's just too risky as a result. Colwill isn't that nailed on. He came off the bench for Reece James, still got nothing, and Everton thoroughly deserved the win. But yeah, I just can't really bring myself to, recommend the Chelsea defensive asset. Badiashile, I mean, I'm not really too keen. Robert Sanchez got injured today. Then you've also got Reece James, who just can't stay fit. Colwill might be the best of a bad bunch. Same with Thiago Silva. But really with Chelsea, you just go for Palmer and that's it. Maybe Sterling, but you've got the suspension risk too, still looming large. So yeah, Chelsea just aren't offering much value at the moment, unfortunately. Would you do Gay to Borro and Bowen to Son for a -4 or just do one of the transfers? Interesting one. I still like Bowen. I know today was very frustrating for those that have Bowen, but yeah, Gay to Border, I think, is the move you really want to make this week because that's a very significant upgrade and it's very clear. Bowen to Son is an upgrade. I'm not going to deny that, but by Game Week 21, Son goes off to the Asian Cup and he could also be a transfer out. I don't mind the -4, to be quite honest with you, but if I had to make one move, it would be the defender transfer, Gay to Borro. Sell Haaland for a few weeks. Like I just said, I'd wait for more information just in case, but my current thinking is that he's going to miss out on Game Week 17, and as a result, I'd sell. But I wouldn't do it just yet, even to chase price rises or price falls. I would just keep hold of him for now. But my current thinking is to sell him and buy Ollie Watkins back, and potentially the likes of Son and Borro in my team. If a cup match is drawn, then the following tie breaks will be applied until a winner is found. Most goals scored. Yeah, that's exactly it. Most goals scored. Fewest goals considered in the game week, and then virtual coin toss. Thank you for that. I had a feeling it was the goals scored. I forgot about the goals conceded, though, so I appreciate that. How long is Haaland out for? There's no confirmation, but some reliable sources have indicated that he could miss out against Fenerbahce in midweek and Crystal Palace in Game Week 17. Then you've got the blank in Game Week 18, so you're possibly looking at Game Week 19 when he returns. So as a result, my current thinking is to sell, but don't pull the trigger just yet. I have to stress that. 886, 710k. Oh, okay, fair enough. I get what you're saying there. That's decent stuff, and hopefully you can push on. Thank you, Chad. As he says, like the video, it costs nothing. We've currently got over 100 people watching, so let's be sure to rack up the likes to over 100. That'd be much appreciated. Trippier for Porro for a -4. I'm not completely against that. Now, with Porro, away to Nottingham Forest, who haven't been great recently, of course, winless in 5, but I'm not sure if I'm expecting a Spurs clean sheet still, so you're going to be relying once again on assists. But long term, yeah, Borro's a great option. So is Trippier, though. I have to say that, especially in home games. Let's not forget how good Trippier's been. No defender has more points so far this season, so it's a tricky one. I think the suspension would sway you towards it, but I'm not so sure, I think. It really depends on your other defenders. If it's the likes of Anderson and Cash, then fair enough, I'd probably take the hit, but I'd rather sell one of those two instead and keep Trippier. Isildur, great name, Lord of the Rings, I love it. Hi Dylan, sell Saliba for Borro now or wait until after the Champions League game? Look, with Saliba, I don't expect anything in the next 2 game weeks, but I don't think he's a sell. Long-term, Arsenal still have the best defence in the league. I just don't think it's worth it. I'd keep him. What a terrible game week 36. Gordon vice-captain. Son came clutch. Oh, Gordon vice-captain. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to come here and say I told you so or stuff like that, but just be aware of the things we talked about over the last week about Newcastle. Very good at home. They've got one of the best home records, but away from home, 16th in the league table, and Gordon has barely scored on his travels. So I think in terms of vice-captaincy, it's always important to have it on the right player, and sometimes you get some bad luck, of course. No one expected Haaland to miss out, but yeah, I don't think Gordon is really a captaincy option unless he's at home. Joao Garote says, hi Dylan, 59 points up to 200k, but I have 3 defenders ruled out, injured, and Haaland possibly with 1 free transfer. Yeah, I'm also in a similar predicament with my defenders. It's absolutely awful. I'm only happy with Saliba and Tsimikas at this moment in time. So, yeah, I think with Haaland, obviously, don't do anything yet, but my current thinking is to sell him. If you don't have Watkins, you sold him to Darwin like myself, you can always buy Watkins for Haaland this week and possibly take a -4 hit and bring in a Pedro Porro or a Trent Alexander-Arnold, which would be ideal. Welcome, Beardy. Good to see you. It's good to see you in all the comments sections and also live chats. Got a massive green arrow, not far away from top 10k now. Great stuff. Keep on going. I'm a bit envious of that position, but hopefully you keep on going and breaking into that top 10k and beyond. Is it worth selling Son and Watkins for Salah and some cheap forward? Look, as much as I like Salah, you are selling 2 top quality assets with some great fixtures, and with Son, you can't find many better midfielders up until Game Week 21, apart from Salah, but you're also selling Watkins. I'm going to say no. Hello, Dylan. Sorry if you've had this question already. No worries, but I have the RB and these benchings are getting to me now. We haven't had this question before, so I like it. Would you sell? And if so, for who? Yes, I would sell. The thing is, with Bailey, I think he picked up an injury against Arsenal, and he's not really someone who's got a great injury record anyway. I think Diaby will get some starts or the odd start here and there, but it ultimately depends on Bailey's fitness because he is the man in form. Diaby did nothing against Arsenal really off the bench, but I think I'd sell him anyway. Maybe Game Week 18 against Sheffield United, you could see a huge return if he gets the nod there. But I think overall there are much better midfielders. I still think Palmer, Gordon, Jarrod Bowen, Son, Saka, Salah are all significantly better midfielders. So yeah, I think I'd sell him. You've got 2.5 million in the bank. I don't know who you have already, but one of those midfielders I just mentioned would be absolutely fine. My team looks no problem, but my rank keeps on going down. Yeah, this season has been very strange, to be fair. I wasn't a good run since Game Week 8, but the last 2 game weeks have been frustrating, to say the least. Sometimes you need that bit of luck, or you just need something to go your way, even if it's just a simple return by Bowen on the Sunday games or something like that, or for a Son or Trippier to be quiet. Would you sell Trippier if you're wildcarding in Game Week 19? Yeah, I would. That's a great question. What is the best app to see how many green arrows I've had in a row? I think just the best thing to do is go to the FPL website and then go to view Game Week history. You can definitely do it on the browser, on your phone or your tablet or the laptop, but I'm not sure if you can do it on the app. I think you can. I think there is a section which says view Game Week history and then it will show you. Salah captain worked for me, but not really at the same time. Oh yeah, I think those that captain Salah and got it right would be frustrated to see those having him as the vice captain with Haaland missing out. Would you do Bowen to Son and Gay to Potter for -4? I answered this. What are your thoughts on going forward with Son and without Salah? I'd still go with Salah. Now, the issue is African Cup of Nations in Game Week 21, just like Son. But I think ideally you have both. If I had to pick one, it's still Salah for me, but Son is quite close, I think, over the next couple. For the cup draw, it's almost goals scored, then least goals conceded, then a coin toss. Thank you for that, Bilal, as well. I'm very far behind, aren't I? But I'll try to whiz through these. Yeah, I'm afraid to say it, but it's a lot of questions and comments there. Missed to do Pedro Porro from -4, still 55 regardless. Yeah, it is a shame, but you can still buy him in next week. It's not really a big deal, I think. Trippier, possible sell. Yeah, I mean, he is in poor form himself. I still like him long-term, but for the next couple, a lot of away games, and of course they did have 2 on the bounce, to be fair. Yeah, I think it's worth selling Trippier for now, but I think you'd probably want him back fairly soon. Which game week do you get your second wildcard? I believe it's game week 20. So the last time you can use your first wildcard is game week 19. What are the best players for a wildcard? Do I consider Haaland? Later this week, I'll try to upload a best wildcard team, but you can also check out the one I uploaded on Thursday, and the only change from that would be Mbumo out for a Jeroboam or Son, for example. So, yeah, I think the best players on the wildcard would be Salah, Watkins, Son. I still think Saliba long-term is great. I'd go for Trent right now, so I have changed my mind on him. He's really won me over. Goalkeepers is difficult. I don't think there's a clear standout. Leno's looking quite good right now. Back-to-back clean sheets, 5-0 wins. He got 9 points today. So Leno could be fairly decent. But yeah, I think there aren't many like absolutely essential players, but a lot of us will end up with similar midfields and complexions anyway. Yeah, I mean, with Pedro Porro, his attacking potential is just absolutely insane. So even when Spurs concede, even in the dying minutes, you still get a good return from him and you're fairly happy. Take Son or Gordon for next week. Gordon has a home game. That is actually a tricky question. Despite what happened today, that is a very good point about Gordon. I think with Fulham's form, though, you have to take them fairly seriously. I think Newcastle will get the win, but might be a bit tougher than we expect. I'd probably go for Son this week. And generally speaking, I do prefer Son, but there is also a question of value. What are you going to do with the extra money? And with Son, it might be difficult to get to. But if you have both, yeah, I think Son is someone I prefer anyway. Could Sarr be the best enabler? 4.5 playing well, starts every game if fit. Not for me. I hate to say it, of course, but with Sarr, he plays far too deep for my liking. He's not going to get many goal contributions, and I think he does waste a midfielder slot. Now, if you want to go for 4 midfielders, then you can go for it, but when you've got Gordon, Palmer, Hwang Hee-chan around 6 million and below, you've even got Soucek or a few other options who start to rise. Even Garnacho is still decent. I just wouldn't go for Sarr instead. Are we ignoring the assets of lesser teams? Potentially. The thing is with Fulham, historically, they don't really have good FPL options except Leno. Same with Wolves, but Cunha's really looking strong. Hwang Hee-chan I've talked about quite extensively, to be fair. As for Everton, Mykolenko is someone I've been talking about for the last month. Bournemouth, Solanke, I mean, I have to say, he's looking really solid. Unlucky not to get the second goal, which hit the post, but yeah, from Bournemouth, it's still Solanke for me or nothing else. Tavernier is fairly decent, but once again, I wouldn't go for him over Palmer, Gordon, Hwang Hee-chan personally. From Fulham, Willian's in good form, but he sometimes comes off the bench. Jimenez is scoring goals once again. Robinson's a fairly decent, cheap defender. And for me, Leno is still the number one asset for Fulham. So, yeah, I think if I had to pick one player from each team, it would still be Solanke, Leno, Hwang Hee-chan, and Mykolenko. Should I prioritise selling Haaland or Trippier? That is a great question. I think if Haaland is ruled out for Game Week 17, he would be the one to sell. 42 after deduction, Mitchell to Borro, still 1 point gained, Haaland to sell. Yeah, like I said, my initial thinking is to sell Haaland, but don't pull the trigger yet. Wait for more information, because if you find out on Thursday or Friday that Haaland is going to be available against Crystal Palace and you sold him, you would be fearing the worst there. I'm not sure if Sanchez is a long injury, to be honest. I didn't see it myself. I only saw that he got injured. When your goalkeeper is the best player of the team, you know the team effed up. Yeah. Yeah, Chelsea, I mean, I thought Everton would win today, but I expected Chelsea to score. And yeah, I mean, Everton have been really good recently. If it wasn't for that point deduction, they'd be right up there in the Premier League table. Yeah, I completely agree with saying. I was so frustrated over the finishing, over the decision-making. In the final third, Arsenal just kept making the wrong choice. Even in their own box or their own half, they kept on just giving the ball away, booting it out of play. It was very frustrating, to say the least. And yeah, ultimately, Villa, in the first 15 minutes, they played very well. I think their goal was really good. But Arsenal only have themselves to blame for not winning that. Haaland is fine, I think, says Beardy. Yeah, the injury isn't too serious, but he might still be rested for the next 2 games, the Champions League and also Crystal Palace. So let's wait and see, of course. Hi, Dylan. Great content as always. Thank you very much, Toronto. What on earth is going on with Newcastle, and is Fulham anything to look into? Yeah, I mean, you can't ignore a team that just won back-to-back games 5-0. I think Leno is always a good FPL option in goal, and over the course of the season, he will be top 5 for most points scored amongst goalkeepers. Robinson and a few others like Ream, you know, they offer decent value at 4.5 million. Then you've got the likes of Andres Pereira, Willian, and even Jimenez now is becoming an option. But for me, I'm still looking at Leno and nothing else from Fulham. And as for Newcastle, their away record all season has been poor. However, They haven't lost by this margin before the last week. 3-0 to Everton and then 4-0 or 4-1 to Tottenham. Before that, I'm not so sure if they lost games that comprehensively, unless I'm forgetting one. But yeah, Newcastle away from home, 1 win all season, 16th in the table, and it just goes to show, really. Any chance of falling Dubravka's price? I don't think he'll fall anytime soon, but yeah, he's been really disappointing. He was so close to 10 points against Everton. Ever since that Trippier mistake, it's all gone downhill, to be quite honest with you. Only Jose Mourinho plus Osimhen duo could save me. I think it might take a little bit more than that, and I think Nkunku could make a difference, but Chelsea in general look very weak. Despite spending $1 billion, you've got quite a few average players in the team, in my opinion. And the likes of Caicedo and Enzo, who have quality, they just don't really shine at the moment because they are in such a poor team. What do you think about Richarlison? Not even a brace today could really change my mind about him. He played well, you've got to give him credit. One of the best performers today, 2 bonus points, but I'm not really going to consider him an FPL. If you want a Spurs player, go for Son or Pedro Porro. They're the 2 best, and that's about it. Best Everton defender, Mykolenko. People sleeping on Udogie. I still think Pedro Porro is better, but Udogie's fine. I had him earlier this season. He wasn't good for me at all. But for me, Pedro Porro is the one. Any chance of a fall in price for Dubravka? Just covered. Son to Bowen or Pau to Gay? I'm guessing it's the other way around with Gay to Pau. Yeah, it is, isn't it? My preference there would be Bowen to Son up until Gameweek 21, but I still like Bowen, I have to say that. What to do with Nunez? Tricky one. So my initial plan was to sell him to Watkins, but with this potential Haaland injury up until Gameweek 17, there is a case to selling Haaland instead, but I'd probably keep Nunez for now. He did well last time out against Man United in that huge win, that 7-0 win. Not sure if that's going to be the same result this time. I think Liverpool will win quite comprehensively, but not by that margin. Let's wait and see. Have Watkins and Cunha, any Haaland replacement for -4 next week? Worth it? Tricky. I think Darwin still. He's someone, I can't really bring myself to recommend him from -4. I think Solanke has a great run of fixtures long term. And right now, I prefer Solanke over Darwin. So yeah, if I had to pick maybe 1 or 2 strikers for you, I'm probably saying Solanke or Darwin. 63 points up to 846k. Good considering I was 4.5 million in Gameweek 6. Yeah, that's really good stuff. A great rank rise. I was in 3.2 million in Gameweek 8. And now 900,000. But the last 2 weeks have been quite frustrating in my personal case. So it's good to see some people getting green arrows. Udogie or Porro? Porro all day long. I saw Martinez for Dubravka. Martinez got 19 points, but the reasoning was right. Well, yeah, he played against Man City and Arsenal. Aston Villa haven't been good defensively for most of the season. I don't think anyone expected Aston Villa to win both games, especially with clean sheets as well. I've watched a bit of Fulham game, not convinced about their defence, but their attack looks really good. Yeah, the thing is, though, it's just difficult for me to recommend them. Well, maybe not to recommend them, but to justify going for them over all these amazing assets and other teams, in my opinion. But they're definitely on radar. They're worth considering. And with their form, it's difficult to ignore. Yeah, Decore. I mean, he doesn't score every game. It does seem like that, doesn't it? Especially with that clutch goal he scored in Gameweek 38 last season. But yeah, with Decore, probably for the Everton attackers, he's one of the better options in the midfield. But yeah, I still like Mykolenko the most from Everton. Wilson from Fulham is cooking, but he's a rotation risk. Yeah, Iwobi as well. I mean, there's so many players that really did well in the last week, and let's see if they can keep it up. Long-term replacements for Anderson. I mean, apart from Trent and Trippier, of course, beyond the suspension, I still think long-term is good. When we're looking at other defenders, it's still Saliba for me. I also like, dare I say, it's difficult for me to say Walker or Dalot because they're not keeping clean sheets. In Dallow's case, I mean, Man United are so up and down. Yeah, I'm probably saying Saliba or Borro at a similar price. Right now, I'd buy Borro instead. Haaland to Solanke, Saka to Son, says Andy N. Yeah, I think if Haaland's ruled out, Solanke's absolutely fine. As for Saka to Son, I still like Saka a lot. I think he's more consistent than Son, but up until Gameweek 21, I think Son will outscore him. Then, of course, he's going to be out for 3 to 4 game weeks at the very least, so difficult one. I'd still keep Saka, personally. Vice Captain Son, nice tonight. Good stuff. When will Nkunku be back? I'm not so sure, to be quite honest with you. Is there any possibility of Dubravka? I covered this already, mate. The answer is there is a possibility, but I don't think he will. Have 6 flags, 4 City Brentford players, and 3 leaving during the AFCON period. Need a miracle to get out of this. Yeah, I think if you had a wild card, it would be the best time to use it. But yeah, I think it's still possible, but you might need to take -4 hits every single week or the occasional -8. But I think you can still navigate it, but you're going to have to get them spot on. But the problem with these mid-table teams, Bournemouth, Wolves, Fulham, is their players will suddenly have 1-2 weeks of big hauls, then blank. Well, yeah, I mean, if they continue at their current rate, they'll be right up there with the highest scorers, the most consistent FPL options, and that's not going to be the case. All the best, mate. Must be in the top 500k by New Year with a bit of luck. Thank you, N. Should I upgrade Semenyo to Solanke for a -4? I think overall it's worth it. Solanke is the best Bournemouth asset, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what your situation is because I'm guessing Semenyo is a bench player and you've already got 5 midfielders and 2 other good forwards. And if that's the case, I'd probably just hold on to him for now. Where is Son, your teammate? I mean, he's not there. You can't have everyone, as we always say on this channel, and he has been quite quiet in the last couple of weeks until today. So yeah, you just can't cover everybody and all possibilities. Hate those obvious non-FPL options, but they constantly scoring points. Yeah, Everton going under the radar, if not for the 10-point ban, they'd be in the top half and the talk of the town. Yeah, and even in the first couple of games, Everton were top for XG or in the top 3, but they were right down there in the bottom. I think after the Arsenal game is when things started to turn around for them, and they've been on a great run. So the underlying numbers have finally converted into some points on the board. Thank you, this series. Anthony Diaz says, Areola, Colwell, Tsimikas, Lascelles, Son, Saka, Salah, Palmer, Gordon, Haaland, Nunez, bench, Isak, Gabriel, Taylor. How's my team? I mean, it's good. Like all of our teams, there are obviously going to be some issues, and with Haaland, keep an eye out for future updates. If he's out for Gameweek 17, I would consider selling him to Watkins. Otherwise, it'd be Isak making way instead. I'm also considering... I don't think you need to make another transfer necessarily, but yeah, goalkeepers are so difficult to really nail on this season. They've been awful for a lot of us. Yeah, Wasting, I went through your Fulham quote. I already went through that. 71 points this week, up to 55k overall. A lot of good scores, which is good to see. It seems like I'm the only one who has a red arrow and below 50 points, but there's probably someone out there as well. To get Porro, who would you sell out of Maguire, Pinnock, Lascelles, Gabriel, Tsimikas to get Porro? Good question. I think out of those lot, I think I'd sell Maguire. Yeah, I think I'd sell him. With Pinnock, he is blanking in Gameweek 18, but you can cover that. Worth getting Trippier out? I think so. Should I get a -4 to take out Haaland? Says Simon. Like I said, wait for more updates. If Haaland's available for Gameweek 17, it's a definite no from me. If he is out, and you're going to someone like Watkins, then yeah, I would probably pull the trigger. Yay to Branthwaite and Trippier to Trent. I like those moves, to be fair. Branthwaite isn't my favourite Everton defender. I think it's Mikalenko, but Branthwaite is still fairly good. So, yeah, I think that's fine. What do you think of Senesi? He is in good form, that is true. Clean sheet Old Trafford, scoring goals in the last couple of games, but I don't trust Bournemouth defensively. I think I'd rather go for their attackers like Solanke. I think their defensive numbers will catch up with them. I'm not really expecting them to continue this run in terms of the defensive numbers and clean sheets. Haaland to Solanke plus Mbeumo to Son? Yes, I would do it, assuming Haaland is out in Gameweek 17. If he's available, that's a different story. Hi Dylan, not sure if you answered this already, but would you do a wildcard team for Gameweek 18? For Gameweek 18, I probably will, to be fair. Next week, so after this week coming up, I should have more time to focus entirely on videos and streams, and I typically do wildcard videos every single week. So yeah, I'll try to do that if a lot of people want to see it. Dwight McNeil looks very impressive. I still think he's very inconsistent though. I hate to kind of downplay all these options who look very good this week, but they have had a lot of blanks and they get one big return and then go missing for a long time. So yeah, I'd be very careful with McNeil, and I think players who show more consistency like Mikalenko are the ones I'm really looking at. Aston Villa players as a must-have? Well, yeah, with their form, with their fixtures long-term, I definitely agree. But I also think there will be a drop-off, personally. But Watkins, for example, he's going to be a season keeper. Who would you go for, Mikalenko or Porro? Pedro Porro, but Mikalenko is also very good, and probably in the best wildcard team you have both. And in my recent wildcard video, I had both of them in the squad. What are your thoughts on Zinchenko in yesterday's game? I think for the goal, he was slightly vulnerable. Bailey did very well against them, but after that, I think he defended fairly well. He was pretty good on the ball. He had some moments where he made the wrong decision yet again. The pass just quite didn't reach the final target, but I don't think he was particularly bad. I think it was like a 6 out of 10. For me, with Arsenal, I think Havertz was the best player. It was really impressive. Robbed off a goal and 2 assists, in my opinion, but it is what it is. Should I keep Bowen or Trippier? I'd rather keep Bowen right now. Oasis Salah on Captain versus United. As a United fan, going to be a painful 90 minutes. I think without Bruno, we'll do better. Less grenade launching football. Wow. Yeah, Bruno does divide opinion. A lot of United fans I know really rate him, but yeah, I think with Salah, he's probably the best captaincy option, isn't he? Especially if Haaland is out. So, yeah, we've seen what he's done against Man United in the last 2 home games against them. So, yeah, I think he's looking really good. Isak and Nunez, should I sell or keep them? I think with Wilson coming back, I'd rather sell Isak and keep Darwin. Do you think Cash will ever start regularly again? It's a possibility, but right now I think Konsa's won the spot. Cash might get a start in the next 2. My guess is that he could start against Sheffield United, which could make things difficult, but you have to say Sheffield United have looked decent. Quite competitive against Liverpool. Also managed to beat Brentford 1-0 with Chris Wilder, so things are looking slightly better for them, but yeah, I still think Aston Villa would be favoured for the clean sheet there. Should I keep Diaby for next game week? I'd personally sell him unless Bailey is officially ruled out. But with Diaby, I'm just not really too keen with the minutes. Even when there's no Bailey, to come on or taking a spot in the starting 11, Diaby's minutes are always quite reduced. I don't like that. Hey, Dylan, keep Sterling? I'd keep him for now. He's not my favourite midfielder. I've always said this. I do prefer Palmer from the Chelsea assets, and I also prefer Bowen, Son, Saka, Salah. I could probably name a few more as well, Hwang Hee-chan. But yeah, the suspension risk is always an issue. But I'd probably keep him if I had him, yeah. We keep on not trusting Bournemouth and then imagine they continue their form. Well, with Solanke, for example, I think he can sustain this. And what I was saying with Bournemouth just a few minutes ago was their defence, because someone asked about Senesi. I wouldn't go there personally, but in terms of the likes of Solanke, I'm absolutely on board with that. Yeah, Game Week 17 as well. Aranya, like I mentioned earlier, I think at the beginning of the stream, the plan is to do a wildcard video, but it would be later in the week, probably Wednesday onwards. Next couple of days are a bit hectic, but I've got some videos planned already, and they're also available for channel members right now, and they'll be published tomorrow. CJR says, Areola and Johnston, who would you get, Sanchez or hope Areola's back for next game week? Well, Sanchez came off injured, so I'm not sure how serious the injury is. And to be honest, I don't trust Chelsea defensively. So if I'm going for a goalkeeper, I still like Raya. Dubravka is a decent, cheap option, but hasn't shown it just yet. Let's see how he does in the home games. Apart from that, I'm probably looking at Leno right now. I think Leno is my favourite pick, I'd say. Pickford's not too bad either recently, dare I say, but yeah, Leno is probably the best right now. Colwell or Mikalenko? Mikalenko, yeah. Should I bring an Aston Villa defender? I know they got back-to-back clean sheets, but I think they were very fortunate in Game Week 16. I'm not against it. I think in Game Week 18 and fixtures like that, it can pay off. Rotational defender options like Pau Torres, absolutely fine, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Do you think Villa are well in the title race? I genuinely don't think so. I think they have been impressive. You can't take it away from them. They were amazing against Man City. They were also pretty impressive in the first 50 minutes against Arsenal, but I don't think so. Their squad is quite thin. They have had a few injuries. They're coping quite well with it, but I genuinely think their squad is too thin, and the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City are still a level above, in my opinion. So, not for me. I'm probably far behind, aren't I? Yeah, I think I am. Jesus. Do you think Isak is a sell now because Wilson is back? I personally think so. Welcome to Stupaki. Arsenal need Dusan. Well, Vlahovic is a goal scorer, but I'm not sure about his overall play, to be quite honest with you. But Arsenal need a striker, yes. Jesus is still a quality forward, not a great striker in terms of goal scoring, but I think the key thing is for Arsenal to upgrade on Nketiah, because he comes on, does absolutely nothing, and it's just the same thing. If you actually cast your mind back to when he scored a hat-trick against Sheffield United, I said in the very next Transcripts video, he's a skip. And guess what he's done since then? Absolutely nothing. And I hate to say it because I want him to do well, but he's not good enough for Arsenal, in my opinion. Would you do Tsimikas to Porro, Trippier to Trent, and Isak, or Nunez to Watkins or Solanke? Yeah, to be honest, as much as Tsimikas is still fairly decent, I'd do that. Tsimikas to Porro, Trippier to Trent, absolutely fine. And I would keep Nunez and do Isak to Watkins. Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on. Bruno to Tavernier. Yeah, Bruno is a sell because he's suspended. He's awful anyway in FPL this season, but I'm not sure if I go to Tavernier still. I mean, Bournemouth are definitely one to look at, and if you really buy into what Iraola's doing, you think they're going to sustain this long term, then why not? You know, I can think of worse transfers, but yeah, I'd sell Bruno. Not quite sure if I go for Tavernier personally, and if I wanted to cover the Bournemouth attack, I'd go for Solanke, but I can think of worse. Who is the best midfielder under 5 million? Garnacho would be up there. I'm probably forgetting some options, but off the top of my head, I'd say Garnacho. He's not great. He's not going to be amazing scoring, you know, in most games. He's only got 1 goal all season, but yeah, I'd probably put him up there. Is Enzo a shout after Nkuku joins? Not for me. Enzo plays far too deep. Palmer's the main penalty taker. Enzo's a quality player, by the way. You know, people who think otherwise, they haven't seen him for Benfica, for River Plate, or Argentina, but yeah, he's not worth an FPL for me. Prioritise Wissa to Solanke or cash to either share Borro now that Trippier suspended. Already have Darwin and Semenyo as the other 2 forwards. I think if I were prioritising, it would be the defender transfer based on your situation. However, Hayden, I'd probably do both, even for a hit. Liverpool, Arsenal and City are the only teams with fewer goals conceded than Everton. Yeah, it's quite impressive, really, with Everton. I'm really impressed by them. And even in the early weeks of the season, they were quite unlucky. I remember in Gameweek 1 against Fulham, they somehow lost 1-0 and they should have won the game by 2 or 3. Anyone know who's on pens for Spurs? Asking for a friend. Yeah, it's Son, unfortunately. Would you do Trippier to Trent? Yep, I covered that. No team in every league will stand a chance to get points from Villa Park. I disagree. They have been obviously impeccable in terms of their record, but I think they were quite fortunate yesterday, personally, and I also think they will drop points there, and they will get a loss. I don't think they'll go unbeaten the whole season at Villa Park. Who are all the essentials currently? Difficult to say. It seems to change every week with the likes of Son. You know, a few weeks ago, even last week or yesterday, people were saying, should I sell him? And I said I'd hold him if I had Son. Salah for me is essential. Haaland at the moment, no, because he could be out for Gameweek 17 and he blanks in Gameweek 18. But I'd say Salah is pretty much as close to essential as you can get right now. Apart from that, I don't think anyone else particularly is. But some players who are close to that bracket would be Son. I still think Saka is right up there. So, yeah, it just depends. Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. Hello, Dylan. What do you think about Senesi? I have been asked about him quite a lot. A few goals recently. Also managed to get a clean sheet at Old Trafford, but I don't trust Bournemouth defensively still in the long term. Man United easily could have scored yesterday, but yeah, I think with Bournemouth, you're looking at the attackers, even Tavernier and Solanke. I'm not sure if I'm on board with Senesi just yet. Are Leverkusen in the title race? Their squad is quite thin. I think it's fairly different though, because Bayern Munich have been suspect, and I know you could also point the argument to Man City as well, but I think actually Leverkusen are a better team than Aston Villa. And yeah, the Bundesliga is generally a weaker league compared to the Premier League. So yeah, I think they are in it. Will they win it? I'm not so sure if Leverkusen will win it, but Aston Villa certainly won't. Just saying. Wait or sell Haaland? I'd wait, but my current thinking would be to sell. But I'd say it's a wait. My goalkeepers are Johnston and Strakosha. Would you take a transfer or even a hit to change? Yeah, a hit isn't really ideal for a goalkeeper, especially with the way it's going this season. And if people are now going to buy Leno for a hit, it wouldn't surprise me if he blanked in Gameweek 17. But yeah, I think you need to change the goalkeeper. And long term, the hit will pay off, but it's very difficult to see the returns coming through for any goalkeeper right now. Sell Gabriel or Tsimikas or Colwill. I wouldn't sell Colwill with the fixtures, but I'm not impressed by Chelsea at all, especially defensively. I wouldn't sell Gabriel because long-term Arsenal still have good fixtures and they've got one of the best defences at the very least, and Tsimikas is still decent. I'd only sell Tsimikas if you're then going to buy a Trent in the defensive line, or if it opens the way to get Salah or something like that. But yeah, I think from those three, the worst is Colwill, in my opinion. Also putting Jesus out wide like Pep used to do. Arsenal have done that once or twice this season. Saka needs cover anyway, and that's why I've constantly said Arsenal need a striker, a winger, and yet another midfielder. And I think if they can sign those three, and probably another defender, considering the injuries right now, then yeah, they'd be in a good position to fight for the title. But there are some gaps in the squad still. Should I fix Areola Turner? And if so, who's the best replacement? Well, Turner did play this week, got 3 points, not too shabby. better than Dubravka, to say the least. But yeah, I think with West Ham, I mean, they just aren't convincing at all. Areola missed out yet again, losing 5-0. West Ham really should have kept more clean sheets this season. Their expected goals conceded before today was right up there in the top half of the table. But yeah, I'd probably still fix it. The thing is, though, once again, Raya, Dubravka, Leno, they're probably three of the better options. I'd say Raya and Leno are the top two, along with Alisson. But not many clean sheets for any of them. Was going to bring in Watkins for Haaland, in for the blank, may bring forward a week, even if it means no keeper for the game week. Need to keep an eye out for Sanchez, Areola news. Exactly that, Twister Parky. The Sanchez injury might not be too serious. Areola could be back very soon. But David Moyes' comments recently were a bit strange, saying he's got a fracture, I think, or something like that, or something crazy like that. And either way, West Ham are poor defensively. But if Sanchez is back, then you'd want him for that fixture run. Branthwaite suspended. I know he picked up a yellow card today. I'll double check that for you. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. So with Branthwaite, yes, you are absolutely. Yeah, you are right. He got his 5th yellow card today. Yeah, he is suspended for Game Week 17. That is true. He's not currently flagged, but he will be in a few hours. Really good shout, mate. The same goes for players like Bruno Fernandes. You've also got some other risks like Sterling. And also, if we look at Trippier, he's another one who's suspended. That's why a lot of people are looking to sell him after a -1 point haul from him. Jesus Christ. But yeah, a lot of suspensions happening, which doesn't help with this festive period. I hate FPL so much. I vice-captain Matoma and not Salah because I thought Haaland was going to definitely play. Yeah, I do feel for you, but it's really important to put the vice-captaincy sometimes just in case. And you are unlucky with the Haaland situation. But yeah, with Matoma, I mean, also unlucky, to be fair, with Matoma missing out entirely. But there you go, that's football. Hi, Dylan. Is Nunez essential against United? I want to say he's essential, but Nunez is probably better against United than he was in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I would fancy Darwin Nunez against United to get something, and I'm probably going to hold him if Haaland is ruled out. I predicted Turner to come back just after I sold him. Fair play. I mean, yeah, I actually thought Vlachodimos would keep the spot, but the results have been going south. I mentioned the possibility actually in yesterday's stream, or maybe a previous one, but I didn't think it'd happen. Waising says Everton, Bournemouth, Wolves, Fulham, Luton, and now maybe Sheffield aren't bad, not that bad to target. So which teams are particularly the good fixture to target? Maybe Chelsea. No, I don't know, mate. It kind of changes week on week. Right now, Forest are in poor form, so you could argue they are a fixture to target, but they got a decent result yesterday. Things change so quickly in the Premier League, and 1 minute Everton look absolutely awful, or in terms of results anyway, and then they go on a 3-game winning streak after losing 3-0 against Man United. So yeah, the Premier League is so unpredictable, very difficult to call. So I think right now Nottingham Forest would be right up there in terms of teams to target. Spurs play them next. Jay Wall says, thank you, Dylan. I've just done Turner, Trippier to Porro as he is rising tonight and would only have 0.1 million in the bank with the moves you suggested. Spurs don't have Europe, so Porro in makes sense. Yeah, my concern with Europe is the other teams with injuries happening there. Cash to Mikalenko this week. Why not, mate? Mikalenko, good long-term transfer. He's cheap. He's going to go up in price, I imagine, very soon. I think that's a great transfer. I'd do it. Alisao Udogie and Leno coming off the bench. Good stuff. Goal from Udogie, 9 points from Leno. Enjoy it. Should I sell Haaland or Isak for Solanke? Apologies. I need some more. Of course, if Haaland is available for Game Week 17, it's a no-brainer. You sell Isak with Wilson coming back from injury. But if Haaland is out and you've got the blank in Game Week 18, you'd make a case for keeping Isak for now, get Solanke in for Haaland, and then you can bring Haaland back for Isak. So kind of a switcheroo there. But yeah, for me, ideally, you'd sell Isak. Top 3 goalkeepers for the next few game weeks. I'd say Leno right now, but wouldn't surprise me if he didn't keep a clean sheet for the next 3 now. As soon as he starts getting the points and everyone buys him. But yeah, Leno for me. I like Raya long term, but not for the next 2 game weeks, really. I don't see a clean sheet against Brighton or Liverpool. Maybe against West Ham, but it will be tricky. So yeah, I think Leno is probably the best one. Because of fixtures, if Sanchez is available, I'd go for Sanchez. And the third one, probably Alisson Becker. Issue of Haaland is that he's also in my Champions League team, but taking FPL with 3 red flags and 2 other yellows, I'll definitely weigh. Yeah, I've also got Haaland myself, and I discuss him and the best replacements for him should he miss out in the team selection video, which will be out tomorrow. Bear in mind that the best wildcard and limitless team videos were recorded early yesterday on the Saturday, so I did include Haaland in those teams, but I did provide some alternatives in the forward position, so it's very easy for you to find a replacement. I can't take a -4 for keeper 2 weeks in a row. That would be quite devastating, wouldn't it? Yeah. Do I need to bring in Watkins for a -4 for Isak if I already have Nunez and Alvarez? You don't need to, but I think the hit is worthwhile. I need a third attacker under 6 million. Can you suggest some? I'm thinking Cunha or Raul Jimenez. Out of the two, I still prefer Cunha. And to be fair, both of them historically poor FPL options, but in the last couple of weeks, they've been very impressive. So yeah, my preference would be Cunha. I've got 6 players suspended and injured. Should I free hit? I mean, it's not a bad shout, but it also depends on Game Week 18. How many Brentford and Man City players do you have? Can you navigate that fairly well? So I think maybe Game Week 18 is the best time to use it for you. Of course, some of the suspensions won't be applicable for Game Week 18, but you might still have 3 or 4 players out. Got Trent and Sarabia this week, and I didn't expect Sarabia would be the one to haul. Oh yeah, I think it was you, right? Because someone mentioned Sarabia, and I said, I'm not sure about that. I just go for Hwang, and Sarabia got the assist, so fair play. I still think Hwang is better, but he's also a suspension risk. Sarabia isn't. Trippier to Trent, thoughts? Right now, Trippier is really off form himself. Newcastle away from home are diabolical, and Trent is just looking like an imperious FPL asset once again. So right now, the transfer's worthwhile. Would I do it for a hit? Possibly, to be fair, especially with Trippier being suspended. Chelsea are definitely up there as a team to target. The thing is with Chelsea, they're not a team that's going to get battered. Maybe I'm wrong, but they don't lose games by 4 or 5-0 so far this season. Maybe if the players start downing tools and Pochettino's going to be sacked imminently, then things could change. But I still think Chelsea, in terms of, I still think they always leak a goal somewhere. That's the way I see them. And that's why I haven't recommended James or Sanchez and all these players in the defensive line when I made my best wildcard video last week, a couple of days ago, and whenever really. Remember, Newcastle only have 1 more game in Europe, then Trippier has a rest. Yeah, of course. That's why I think Trippier will be a very enticing option fairly soon, especially when Newcastle have more home games. But right now, with the suspension, with the poor form from Newcastle, all the injuries, I think he is potentially a sell. Quite a short-term sell, though. Is it too late to buy Son? It's not too late, really, but remember, you're only going to have him for Game Week 18, 19, 20, and then he's off to the Asian Cup in 21. Did Raya ever make a save? Well, he did make 2 saves against Villa. I think he was good yesterday. A bit unlucky with the goal. Maybe he could have done better, but I think he was pretty good. But because Arsenal didn't win the game, it's not really highlighted. The same with Havertz, who had a very good game. Big question, is Jimenez back a serious option? Last couple of games, he's scoring goals. You can't ask for too much more. 3 goals in the last 2. Is he serious? I still think you need to do more than 3 goals in 2 games because that's kind of a small sample size, and I still would expect a drop-off from Fulham. But, yeah, I think he's definitely one to consider now. But I do prefer Cunha, as I mentioned to someone else just now. I still prefer Solanke, Darwin Nunez, Watkins, and, of course, Haaland when he's back. I got 63 points. Is good or not? Well, if you got a green arrow, in my book, that's a good week. I think 63, off the top of my head, looks fairly decent. Sell Bowen, buy Son. I still like Bowen, but Son is an upgrade. If you can do it for free, I'd probably do it. You're right, the Premier League this season is unpredictable. That's why the rank is very inconsistent this season. Yeah, and I've made plenty of mistakes. I think starting the season with 2 Man United attackers was a bad move, and I really should have gone for 1 maximum. But yeah, this season has been really unpredictable, and things change week on week. Dylan need help. Defense looks terrible. Same. Trippier, Branthwaite suspended. Cash, Simicast, Gay. I think what I do there, Bridgerton, is potentially do Trippier to Trent if you've got the funds, and I would also do Cash or Gay to Mikalenko. I think that would look fairly good. If you can afford Pedro Porro, even better. Go for Trent and Pedro Porro. Sell Haaland for Solanke and buy him back. I think that's fine, assuming Haaland's out for Game Week 17, of course, but we don't know too much on that front. Pep Guardiola didn't give too much away. He was basically saying the injury isn't too bad, but he could miss out in midweek, and he could miss the Crystal Palace game. Frustrating game week. Initial plan was to use wildcard in Game Week 19, but what should I do now? Easy to take out Trippier and Haaland, plus bring it in Song, Solanke, Trent. Yes, and if you're making another 3 or 4 moves at least on top of those, then I think the wildcard is worth it. And it also helps you to build up the free transfers over this festive period, and you can then sell the likes of Son and Salah around Game Week 21. Yeah, it was me. I just got Sorare to free up some space to get Trent, and luckily he hauled. Yeah, and Trent, despite conceding, got 2 bonus points, so it does show how good he's been recently. Should I do cash to Trent and do Mbeumo to a midfield? I'm not sure of yet for a -4. Is this a move I should make? I probably would. I know it's Man United and Arsenal back-to-back, but I'd expect Trent to get 1 clean sheet from those games and probably 1 attack in return. So, yeah, I think it's worthwhile. In terms of midfielders, I still think Gordon and Palmer are right up there for cheap midfielders, but I'm not sure what budget you're really playing with there. 1 free transfer, what to do? Trippier to Borro. Branthwaite out for who? With Branthwaite, though, you might keep him, or you might want to keep him long term. You can just bench him for now. Trippier to Borro is absolutely fine. I'd probably do that for free, and maybe in a few weeks' time you will reconsider and buy Trippier back. But for the time being, that's a good transfer. What do you think of my backline? Saliba, Pedro Borro, and Tsimikas. What changes would you make? I'd keep them as it is. I'd only sell Tsimikas if you can get to Trent. Apart from these 3 defenders you just mentioned, I do like Mykolenko a lot. So if you can add him to your defensive line, I think you're pretty well set. Why Newcastle's so good at home but terrible away? I think it's a mentality thing. With the crowd behind, I probably have to say this season Newcastle have probably had the best home support of any team. I think that also plays a massive part. A lot of the games are at 5:30 p.m. at St James's Park, but yeah, it's also the injuries catching up to them. Europe as well taking its toll in the group of death. I think all of these factors are contributing, but they've been poor all season away from home, and I think it's down to mentality. Before the head injury, Jimenez was a good option. Oh yeah, I had him actually a few years ago with that Adama Traore-Jimenez combination. Ariel did play next game or not, what do you think? I thought he'd play this week, but I was wrong. I'm not so sure. Let's keep an eye out for what David Moyes says, but either way, West Ham just aren't good enough defensively. Thank you very much, Isildur. Really insightful stream. Thumbs up for answering our questions. Thank you very much. And like I said earlier, great name. I'm pretty sure that's a Lord of the Rings thing, so... got 76 points, bought in Cunha 2 weeks ago. Nice, good stuff. Also, Mykolenko and Leno providing the jam. To be fair, I wouldn't call it jam, you know. I'm not too surprised by Mykolenko getting 7 points against Chelsea. And Leno, very good in the last couple of weeks, so fair play. And Salah vice-captain coming in clutch, that is for sure. If it wasn't for Salah vice-captain, I'd be on 20-something points and I wouldn't do the stream. Joking. Bruno, Trippier suspended, Haaland and Mbeumo, DCL Archer, no playing keeper. Should I free hit? I did answer this question before. I don't think you added the context like you just did now in this message, but yeah, I think I'd possibly free hit. The thing is, as well, though, a lot of these players are kind of long-term issues. So Haaland and Trippier you'd probably want to keep long-term, but Bruno's a sell anyway. Mbeumo's a sell too. I'd probably sell both of them and DCL right now. And with Archer, he's just a bench option. So I'd take a -4 hit if you can for Bruno and Mbeumo out. And if you can do those 2 and DCL out for a -4, I'd just take the hit and avoid the free hit. Is Saliba to Pau Torres a good transfer? Not in my opinion, no. I still think Arsenal have a better defence than Aston Villa. And long term, after the next 2, I think Arsenal will keep quite a few clean sheets. So not for me. I don't rate Pau Torres too much as an FPL option. I think he's all right, you know. I think he's definitely worth considering, but I wouldn't sell Saliba for him. I did the same thing to United attackers and 3 of them in my team. Yeah, I also had Onana. Jesus. Chelsea play like they were constipated. Wow, that is a great way of putting it. Senesi or Mykolenko? Mykolenko all day long. If Haaland is fine, I'll do cash to Mykolenko. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think cash to Mykolenko is a perfectly reasonable transfer. Haaland plus Diaby to Solanke and Son for next 2 weeks. I'm on board. I like it. Of course, if Haaland's available for Game Week 17, he's probably right up there for the best captaincy options, but I have a sneaky feeling those transfers will pay off, and you can always buy Haaland back in Game Week 19. Don't have the funds for Trippier to Trent. Planning to downgrade to Porro. Absolutely fine. I'd do that, and I'd also buy Mykolenko. Also, remember, Bridgerton, Branthwaite got his 5th yellow card today, so he is suspended, so I'd go for Mykolenko instead. Can Everton sustain this? Without the deduction, they would be in the mix for Europe. They are also gaining ground fast. I don't know their exact underlying numbers right now, but whenever I check, they're very solid. I do think they can sustain, maybe not in terms of 3 wins in a row and, you know, what they're doing recently, but I think they can sustain a very reasonable mid-table finish, possibly even 9th or 10th. I think they can do that, to be fair. That is mid-table. But yeah, I think they can definitely creep their way into the top half, even with a minus 10 points deduction. I think ultimately they will finish between 10th and 12th. They are looking like a solid team, and that deduction has done nothing to them. Only in probably, I don't know, created this siege mentality for Everton and Sean Dyche. I thought after that Man United game, I was kind of fearing the worst for them because, I mean, they played well in that match, but for them to lose 3-0, I was like, is that deduction getting to them? And that's why you can't judge football after one game. So yeah, I think they can sustain it to some extent, and they will finish quite well. They're not getting relegated, that's for sure. Considering West Ham defence, I think Wolves' assets will return nicely this week. Oh yeah, if West Ham defend the way they did yesterday. But then again, today. But then again, if you look at West Ham a couple of days ago, they kind of stuck in there against Tottenham. They were getting dominated, but they defended fairly well. So, I don't know, sometimes things just happen, and Fulham are in great form. Chelsea assets, fourth, except for Palmer. Difficult for me to really name any, but Sterling, yellow card risk though, or suspension risk, should I say. Jackson is maybe someone to consider, but I wouldn't go from over Cunha, Solanke, and all these other options I rate more than him. Sanchez in goal, if he's fit, is probably my favourite defensive coverage. I just don't like the rest. Sam puts his wildcard team, or wildcard players. Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. Alvarez has been very disappointing recently. He got the assist today, but yeah, his overall form hasn't been particularly great. With the fixtures though, and with Haaland out, that could be a great shout, and I love the other picks. Martinez, yeah, in goal, he's absolutely fine for now, actually. That's a good pick, but I don't think he'll get more of these 9 and 10 pointers anytime soon. Maybe in the odd game like Sheffield United, but yeah, I think there will be a drop-off there. Trento, Son, Mikalenko, really good picks. 33 minus 4 right now. Salah captain will come in clutch. That is an understatement. Same for me. If it wasn't for that, it would have been an absolutely diabolical week. I'd have been closer to 2 million probably. If he free hits, he's going to have all the same players in the blank and Gameweek 18. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So in my case, in my opinion, it's best just to take a hit and get rid of 2 or 3 players. That will be issues long term. So I think you're spot on there. How far in the future should I look when making transfers? Also, between which game weeks is AFCON taking place? Game week 21 to 25. The same goes for the Asian Cup. So players like Son and Hwang Hee-chan are not safe options long term. How far in the future should I look when making transfers? Well, it depends, because if you're buying in a Son now, you're looking ahead for the next 4 or 5, basically, up until he goes off. But yeah, I think at least the next 4 or 5. I think that'd be a good metric. Ideally, you'd have players with good fixtures and good chances of scoring goals, points, assists, whatever it may be, for the next 6+. But I think at least next 4. If I do cash to Trent and a -4 in Boomer to midfielder, I have 6.6 million to get. I already have Gordon, Salah, Hwang, and Son. I'd probably still consider Palmer, to be quite honest with you. He's probably my favourite, especially with the fixtures. Everton might finish above Chelsea. It's possible. Things change very quickly, though, and if Chelsea sack the manager, get a manager bounce, if Nkunku makes an impact, if they spend a lot in January and actually get it right, sometimes it just takes one game for things to turn around very quickly. We saw it with Everton recently, and Chelsea can still do that. Any news of Haaland return? Not really. Pep didn't give too much away. I don't think the injury is serious, but from what I saw yesterday from a reliable source, there is a possibility he misses the Champions League game in midweek and Crystal Palace in Game Week 17. How does vice-captain work? Had Captain Salah, but since he didn't play, when does the vice-captain get his points? Well, it is the end of the game week right now, technically, but once the points update in midnight, I think it's around midnight in the UK, you will see the vice-captain become your actual captain. So the way it works is whoever's your vice-captain will become your captain if your original captain didn't play a single minute. How would you rate teams? Hey, would you rate teams? I mean, I typically do it in the streams. People put their teams and I offer my opinions on the cuff, and also on Twitter and Instagram you can send your teams. The Discord server, I sometimes make rating your teams videos. Since the beginning of the season, I always had faith in Everton. The only thing missing is my Mikalenko. Yeah, if I had a wild card, Mikalenko would be one of the first names in the team sheet. So yeah, I think that's a great shout. When is the Asian Cup? Like I said, Game Week 21 is when it starts, similar to the African Cup of Nations. There is a kind of 2-week break, if I'm not mistaken, after the New Year games and New Year's Eve games up until mid-January, because we do have the FA Cup in between. So yeah, Game Week 21 is when the Asian Cup will make a big impact. So the last time you can enjoy Son and Hwang and all these great Asian and African players in FPL is Game Week 20. Who is on pens when Salah goes for some Son? Alexis? Well, McAllister was the main penalty taker for Brighton. That is a good point. But I think Darwin Núñez would have a shout too. It'd probably be between McAllister, once he comes back, and Darwin, I'd say. If I take -8 hits today, making free transfers and wildcard midweek after potential Haaland news, will I get the -8 back? Yes. Any free hit or wildcard you use will cancel the hits you took beforehand. Debating Isak for Cunha, Solanke or Watkins. As good as Cunha's been recently, and Solanke's a great long-term option for his price, Watkins all day long. Even if Haaland is back next week, is essential to have right now. I mean, look, you can sell him. I mean, look, against Crystal Palace, he can go off. We all know this at home. But I want to say he's essential right now. I think from Game Week 19 onwards is when he would become that again. Chelsea deserve to be relegated, says Weiseng. Well, if they get enough points on the table to survive, then they don't deserve it. But let's wait and see. The player manager not serious, says Weiseng as well. Should I change Cash for Powell or keep him? With Cash, he might get the odd start in a plum fixture, but I think it's worth going for that move. Having said that, I do prefer Mykolenko, Saliba, Trent, Tsimikas, Trippier long-term, and quite a few others, Pedro Porro, over Pau Torres. Predictions for Barca versus Girona? I think Barcelona will win. If I'm not mistaken, Girona got an injury recently to a key player, Yankel Herrera. I think Barcelona will win. Home advantage. It'll be tight, probably 2-1 Barcelona. I'm going to go for that. Is this like a bad option now, even with the great fixtures? Would you take him out for a -4? He's not a bad option, but he has been frustrating recently. And one of the main appeals for buying him in the last couple of weeks is that Wilson was injured, but now he's back. So I think there are better options elsewhere. And I would even consider going to Watkins or Solanke for a -4. Would you prioritize selling Gay or Cash first? Probably Gay. Not right now, Greenyer, because I want to put some thought into it. And also, later this week, I'll likely do a best wildcard team video. So if you check that out, probably from Wednesday onwards, you will see my thoughts on the best wildcard team. And I have uploaded one recently for Game Week 16. And it's going to be very similar, I think. So if you check that out, you'll have a good idea of what I prioritize. Pen taker when Hwang Hee-chan is away? I'd probably say Cunha, but I might be mistaken. Yeah, if there's a Wolves fan in the chat, then be sure to let me know, but I think it would be Cunha. Leaving to see Barcelona Girona, but need to leave you a question. How do you see investing in Tottenham assets from now on, seeing that Son, Basum and Sarr all huge today going away soon? That is a great question. I think with Spurs, Son and Pedro Porro are the two Spurs assets to get. I wouldn't go for anyone else, even Richarlison after today, Kulusevski or Doggy. I think it's just two assets, Son and Pedro Porro. The issue is when Son and all these players go out, I think Spurs' squad depth will be tested even further, and it won't be until Mickey van der Ven and Maddison are back where they can fill the void a little bit. So, yeah, I think they could be in trouble in January. But for this Christmas period, with those fixtures, I think having Son and Pedro Porro is absolutely worth it, especially with the attacking potential that Spurs always offer, especially or even in spite of the injuries and suspensions they're getting. So those two for me are still great options regardless. And of course, when Son goes off to the Asian Cup, you can sell him and bring him back later on around Game Week 25 onwards. Alex has had a terrible week. Still better than mine. Only Salah return. Should I bring Son back for Bowen or bring in Solanke? Who would you bring Solanke in for? That would be my question. But I do like Bowen still. Son is better, though, for the next couple of game weeks. So if you can afford to buy Son for the next couple up until 21, then yeah, I'd probably go ahead. Hi Dylan, I've got loads of flags. Says Alan's red, Trippier, Areola, Sanchez, Haaland. What would be your priority? Or wait for more info? Definitely wait for more info. If Haaland's out for Game Week 17, then he would be a priority because you can go to Ollie Watkins, for example, if you sold him already. I'd probably look at selling Trippier. You've got 2 injury doubts for goalkeepers, which is so rare. It just sums up this season to a T. But yeah, I think Trippier and Haaland will be the priority sells right now. Having said that, I think Trippier will be a good option in 2024. So maybe for this Christmas period, I'm not too keen on Newcastle assets defensively, but in the new year, once more players come back with more home fixtures, a great run, and Trippier getting maybe some more rest after the Champions League group stages is fully done, I think Newcastle could go on a decent run there. So yeah, right now Trippier and Haaland will be the priorities, but wait for more info. Thank you very much, VJC News. I appreciate that very much, and hopefully I can see you in the next few streams too. By the way, if you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe for new. It costs nothing and it really helps out the channel. We do have over 100 people watching, so let's be sure to get this stream to over 100 likes. I'll be streaming for a little while longer. We have been going for an hour now. It has gone quite quickly. So I'll go through these questions as well and see how we're going. Worth taking a -4 to get Solanke in instead of Semenyo? Yeah, I think so. Long term, it will pay off. I did cover this before. I found out that Palace are frauds. To be fair, they were very unlucky yesterday. I think they actually were slightly better than Liverpool. I think they probably deserve a draw at the very least, but there you go. I think the red card, once it happened, you just kind of knew Liverpool would win the game. Salah Anfield against United should be a captain no-brainer, right? Yeah, I think the only time it's not a no-brainer is if Haaland's available, but yeah, I think right now you just go for Salah. The thing is with this season, you know, when you have like a no-brainer captain, everyone's going for him, like Haaland this week against Luton Town, it just doesn't really go the way you expect. Son says, well, I'll do it then. Fair enough. Dixie says, hi Dylan, I haven't got Haaland. Best captain for next week? Salah. I'll keep it very simple. I'd go for Salah. If I take Haaland, my team would be Raya, Dubravka, Saliba, Taylor, Trent, Mikalenko, Pedro Porro, Saka, Salah, Palmer, Gordon, Son, Solanke, Alvarez and Watkins. I like it a lot. You've got that rotation and squad depth. Could lead to some benching headaches, but you are well prepared for the fixture period we have in December, so I like it. My prediction is Girona to win. Also got the Real one right, 1-1. Fair enough. Did you see I got Villa right? Yeah, unfortunately. As soon as the final whistle went, I did remember that you said it, so fair play. No one saw the Frankfurt spanking coming? No, I don't think anyone did. You might have answered already, but would you prefer Mikalenko or Porro? I would go for Porro. Ironically, I think Everton have a better defence than Spurs, but Porro's attacking threat is just so impressive, and the fixtures are also much better than Everton's. The thing with Everton is they have one good game sprinkled in between, and they've got some poor ones that kind of scatter them. So, yeah, I'd go for Porro, but ideally it's both, and they both are in my recent wildcard video. Is there a best UEFA Fantasy wildcard video? It's already out for channel members and patrons. It will be released tomorrow, probably early in the morning in the UK, and then in the afternoon you'll get the team selection video where I discuss the best Haaland replacements if that's needed for you, and then on Tuesday there'll be the deadline stream from 3:30 PM UK time, and today, earlier, I uploaded the best limitless team, so that's 2 double uploads in a row on the Sunday and the Monday. Do you think if Pedro Neto is back? I don't know if he's going to be back. Let's wait and see. It shouldn't be too long now, but you always have setbacks, and Pedro Neto unfortunately is an injury-prone player, but it could also help Hwang up until Game Week 21. So, yeah, I think Pedro Neto is a massive boost if he does return, but I'm not sure when that will be. I did cover the Jose Sarr situation because some people wanted Bentley, and in the end, Jose Sarr came back in the side, and in the end, Bentley didn't get the minutes. Neto says, BJC, yeah, I mean, I'm still not too keen on Bournemouth defensively. I'm going to maintain that. Looking at 67 points, massive green arrow, good stuff. I think most people in the live chat today have gone green arrows, probably because of a combination of Salah captain and Son. I'm a Brighton fan defending Palace, lol. I wouldn't call them frauds. Yeah, and also they were very unlucky yesterday. The way the game went, I think the decisions, whether they're right or wrong, I'm not, disputing that. I think what happened in the game, the red card, ultimately swayed things. Can Spurs beat Liverpool? Well, they technically have beaten them already. In terms of the league table, I don't think so. I think Liverpool, I mean, they deserve to be top right now, but I do think there could be a drop-off. I'm not convinced by them defensively. I think City will finish above Liverpool, just to put it out there. And I just don't really get, every year people underestimate Man City and they say, oh, they're finished. It happened last year. And people don't learn the lesson, it seems. So, yeah, with Spurs versus Liverpool, I think Spurs will still finish quite decently, but their defence is absolutely awful still, in my opinion, and I think Liverpool finish above them quite comfortably. I said this when Spurs were top and Liverpool were 4th, 5th. Yeah, I think Liverpool comfortably finish above them. What happened to Haaland? I think he's got a persistent foot injury in the last couple of weeks, and now they're taking the time to basically bench him and give him a rest and have him back ready for the Club World Cup and also their next set of matches in the second half of the season. Thank you, Tech. Enjoy the game. Thank you to Stupaki as well. As he says, like the stream. It costs nothing and helps us out. Any price changes tonight? Funny you should say that. Let's go for some different screens. We might as well. So, in terms of the fixture difficulty... I don't even speak English. The fixture difficulty rating, we've got Chelsea, West Ham, Bournemouth, Luton Town and Aston Villa in the top 5. Spurs, Liverpool and Arsenal are just behind them. Even Newcastle are right down there in 10th. Brentford, Palace, Man City, Sheffield United and Everton are in the bottom 5. And that's what I mean about Mykolenko. I think he's a good option as a rotational 4th or 5th defender. But Everton don't have a run of fixtures. You can see their Burnley away, looks good. But then it's Tottenham away and Man City at home. Then it's Wolves away and Aston Villa at home. I mean, yeah, it's just not enough games really in a row, unfortunately. But I still think Mykolenko is a good FPL option. In terms of predicted points, Haaland is still top, but that's assuming he does start the game with 8 predicted points. Salah second, then you've got Bowen, Gordon, Saka. I'm expecting a much better week personally, with more home fixtures, and also a lot of these players are projected to get a lot of points. Jackson, Palmer, Isak, Sterling and Trippier complete the top 10, but of course Trippier is suspended, so that will be updated fairly soon. In terms of the question that was just asked, let me just get this up off screen, I think. Okay, that's already calm. So, in terms of price changes, we've got Odegaard, Palmer, Pedro Porro and Pau Torres about to go up in price tonight, it seems, according to Fantasy Football Hub. Those going down include Mitchell, Johnston, Areola, Diogo Jota, Jensen and Imbumo. So be sure to check out these websites. If you become a member, then you will be able to have access to all the tools there. And also, according to DraftHound, there is a link in the description below. They are recommending Anderson to Thiago Silva or Saliba to Zinchenko, which is the top suggestion. But my priority right now is to get Watkins back in up front and also to bolster my defence, but in a different way. And right now, Pedro Porro is the one I'm looking to get. I almost took a hit to get him in this week. I would have gained 2 points from it because Lascelles got -1. Pedro Porro got 5. So, yeah, I think the Spaniard will come into my team. It's just a matter of time. I might do it for a hit. I might leave it for another week to do it for free. But ultimately, I am going to invest a bit more in Spurs once again. And ideally, I'd also have Son in the midfield. But let me know in the live chat, who would you sell to get Heung-min Son? And ultimately, he's a sell in Gameweek 21. Anyway, the last thing I want to show you is the top captains in the top 100k. Haaland was top with 80%, Salah second with 15%. I think those that captain Salah would be a bit annoyed to see Haaland miss out and the vice captaincy pulling through for the likes of myself and many others watching. But there you go, Haaland, most popular captaincy option, didn't even play a single minute. I think he would have done particularly well against Luton Town. Best Alvarez replacements. Not sure if now is the time to sell Alvarez. I know he blanks in Gameweek 18, but with Haaland potentially out in Gameweek 17, he could be the main man up front against Crystal Palace. So, yeah, I think overall Watkins is the best forward in the game, bar Haaland. And then you've got Solanke, who's right up there. Darwin Núñez looks good against Man United. I think he's a good choice. So, yeah, I think those are probably the best forwards. What's your plans for Gameweek 17? Probably to sell either Haaland or Darwin Núñez to Watkins, and I might even take a hit to get Pedro Porro for either Anderson or Matty Cash. I mean, I don't really have faith in Darwin. If you saw my tweets, you would understand that, and also what I said in the deadline stream yesterday. Darwin is a frustrating option, but I'm backing the fixture. He's done well in it before. He's got good underlying numbers. Liverpool create a lot of chances, but yeah, ideally, my plan was to sell Darwin to Watkins, but if Haaland's out, I might have to sell him instead. I feel like Liverpool will struggle without Salah. Yeah, I completely agree. That's a good point as well. Every team will suffer some big absentees. Arsenal have not really had Thomas Partey throughout the whole season, but he will be missing yet again. Tomiyasu as well, if he comes back from injury, will also be missing in the Asian Cup. So there are some key assets who are missing out. Then you've also got Manchester City is the only one really that you see. I don't think they've got anyone. So Man City will probably start to go on a bit of a run, whilst the likes of Liverpool drop points when you don't expect them to, same of Arsenal. So, yeah, I think that's a great point. Chelsea Blue says, hi, Dylan. Hi. Just think for Champions League fantasy, not confident buying assets or Haaland. I disagree with Bayern. I think they'll go strong. So I think if you have buying assets, you keep them. I'm actually more concerned about Arsenal. I think they'll rotate against PSV. Avanana, Areola, would you make a goalkeeper transfer? Yes, I think I would. For free, of course, but I wouldn't do it for a hit. The thing with Vanana is, it would not surprise me if he got 0 points or less against Liverpool. As for Areola, he's still injured. West Ham just conceded 5. But then again, keepers are just low ceilings, not enough clean sheets. It's very difficult to get that. Pedro Neto still tied the most assists. That just says how good he was. Yeah, that is true. Not enough goals. I think he's only got 1, but his creativity and dribbling is really impressive. Does top 5 of the league qualify for UCL? I think if coefficients play out for England, then yes, it will be the top 5. But yeah, you're probably looking at Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Aston Villa, and maybe Tottenham or Man United. I still think United will find a way to get top 5. I really do think that. Thing is, with City, they are in a bad patch and still in the mix. Exactly that. That's what I mean. It happened last season, especially around this period between November to February. And after that, they got their act together, went on an insane run, and Arsenal also bottled it as well. But yeah, Man City, you can never count them out. What website is this? I'm guessing it was Fantasy Football up there, Dan James, when you asked that. If no Haaland, what are you going to do with Captain Salah, bring in Son? I'm going to probably captain Salah anyway. He was my vice-captain originally. Bring in Son. It's also a possibility. I'm not ruling it out, but it would be quite a short-term transfer. But the thing is with me, I need to decide who to sell to get Son. And I'd also want Pedro Porro because my defensive line is quite shaky. I could maybe get away with it this week with Lascelles at home to Fulham, although Fulham are in great form. Saliba at home to Brighton. I think Brighton will probably score there. And then you've got Tsimikas at home to Man United. So it's not too bad, my defensive line in Gameweek 17. But yeah, ideally I'd get Pedro Porro as well. A -8 isn't out of the question. But yeah, Son is definitely a consideration for me. Even if they're playing Sheffield, I still won't trust Chelsea players. And to be fair, Sheffield United have been quite good recently. Only 2 goals conceded in the last 2 games. They got a win against Brentford. Captain Son this week, I'd still rather go for Salah. Thank you, Zenzone. Thanks for the Mikalenko tip to get in for Gay. No worries. I mean, he has been really good recently. I'm glad that you got some points on the board. My defensive line was atrocious. Triple Captain Salah, not for me. I wouldn't triple. I mean, then again, someone said that this week and it wasn't too shabby, 13 points. I mean, it's not a bad shout. He's got a great record against Man United at Old Trafford. Sorry, at Anfield and Old Trafford, to be fair. But I think I'd probably hold it. In terms of Barcelona, yeah, they are losing right now to Girona. Arsenal have been a bit suspect recently, but I'm still backing them to win the game. They do have some injury problems, of course, but yeah, I mean, they should still get back into it. Then again, Girona have done a very impressive job this season. Let's go back now to my team, my amazing team, which scored 40 points. So amazing. 2 yellow flag players, as you can see, but Lascelles will be cleared. Then again, Haaland will then become flagged. So yeah, it's 2 yellow flag players. Salah will become my new captain, so it will be 40 points overall once the captaincy settles in. And I get my 0-pointer from Anderson off the bench for Haaland's 0-pointer. Amazing. Wish I captained Son. Damn. Anyways, please could you do a wildcard video? Not right now. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time to do it after this reaction stream. Tomorrow there's going to be a double upload for UCL Fantasy. The video's already done, dusted, available for channel members and patrons. So yeah, tomorrow I'll probably do that, the double upload. Then on Tuesday, the deadline stream for UCL Fantasy. From Wednesday onwards, I should have some more time, and if that's the case, I'll be able to do the best wildcard team, transfer tips, and the team selection for Gameweek 17, and I'll talk about Haaland and everything else you need to know. Saliba or Mikalenko? Long term, I still prefer Saliba, to be quite honest with you. But at this moment in time, if I'm buying one, it's Mikalenko, because over the next 2, I don't see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet. Surely, if there's anything definitive on Haaland, you just play him. Of course. The thing is, I did see some reliable sources saying that there's a chance he misses out Gameweek 17 and Matchday 6 of UCL Fantasy. So that's where the doubt comes in. What do you think about Powell in for Anderson? That's perfectly reasonable. I think with the fixture run in mind, it's fine. I don't think Aston Villa are particularly great defensively. They should have conceded 2 or 3 goals minimum yesterday, but they're in great form. Probably the most informed team in the league, actually, and you will make up points with that transfer. Hey Dylan, should I change Saliba for Pedro Porro for the next 4 weeks? Once again, I'd ideally keep Saliba and sell someone else, but I'm guessing that's your only route to Pedro Porro. If that's the case, I'd do it, but somewhat reluctantly. Best captain for next game week? Yeah, I think Son is a definite shout. I wouldn't go for Palmer against Sheffield United. It's Son or Salah, and I'd go for Salah. Terrific Texas. Hi, Dylan. Have 2 transfers. Thoughts on my team? 2 transfers is pretty good. Yeah, no Haaland either. And you've got Watkins. You're in a great position. I would consider Sterling out still. But yeah, I think Diaby's the bigger priority. So I do Diaby out to... I still like Bowen, to be quite honest with you. Gordon and Palmer as well. So I'd go to one of those 3 midfielders for Diaby. As for your defenders, I would do Trippier You know what I do, actually? Diaby to Gordon or Palmer, up to you. And I do Trippier to Trent. I think that looks really good. Terrific tech. I'm quite jealous. Captain Salah, Maguire will put him in his pocket. Don't know about that, mate. Reynaldo Garcia, welcome. Simicas to Smikalenko. Not sure if I'd do that, honestly. The only way I'd do it is if that enables you to get Trent. Otherwise, just keep Simicas. Without Haaland is, what do you think? Well, it's decent. It's not a great rank. I mean, same with myself, but it's not too far away from where you want to be, potentially. Yeah, I think, look, there's some examples of people in a really strong position without Haaland. It's possible. But, yeah, I think with this week, obviously, yeah, I think those non-Haalanders got away with one with him missing out. As a United fan, I think I made triple captain Haaland as probably my PTSD. Well, I think as a United fan, you're in a bit of a weird situation because if you get the points, you're probably a little bit happy you triple captain him, so you gain something from it. And if Salah blanks, you're happy because maybe Man United did something. I'm hoping, actually, that Man United get a result, which is probably a false hope, as Gandalf says, but you never know. Never know in football. Pedro to Simicas. Yeah, overall, I prefer Pedro Porro over Simicas right now, but ideally, I wouldn't sell Simicas. I got some big results against Barca right last year, not the same animal. I think last year they were better than they were this season, though. They've been really shaky in the last few weeks. Lewandowski's having a nightmare season. He's been poor since the World Cup. Yeah, let's wait and see, though. The game has just started. Thoughts on Sterling captain? Nah. I know Sheffield United looks amazing on paper, and Chelsea have been a bit of a flat-track bully in certain games like Luton Town and Burnley, but I'd go for Son or Salah, and Salah's my preference. Did you record all your videos after work every day? Recently, yes. The last couple of weeks have been hectic. The last couple of videos I recorded for UCL Fantasy, or at least the ones that are coming up for tomorrow, they were recorded today and yesterday, so it was the weekend. But most of my videos recently, yes, you're absolutely right. So maybe that's why you can tell how tired I am. More likes, people. Thank you to Stapaki. As he says, smash the like button and get the stream to over 100. Ask a question, smash a like. Thanks, Dylan. Oh, it helps, Dylan. Thank you to Stapaki. I appreciate it. Best midfielder from Gameweek 21 onwards, essentially a Son Salah replacement. Saka. I'd probably go for Saka there. Welcome, Jonas. Good to see you. Maguire can't catch Salah to put him in the pocket like an ope in a pool of treacle. Fair enough. I'm guessing that's soap, but yeah, maybe I got that wrong. Is Haaland confirmed out? No. He's not confirmed out, but there is a chance he misses out in Gameweek 17, and with the blank in Gameweek 18, there is a good case to sell him and then buy him back in Gameweek 19. Now, I don't see us getting anything at Anfield. Oh, of course. I mean, I think Liverpool win by 3 or 4. I don't think it'll be quite 7-0, but yeah, Liverpool right now are in great form. Also, another one, impeccable at home. So yeah, it's so difficult at Anfield. How long does it usually take you to record a video? Depends on the video, really. Some take a bit longer than others, and also it's not just recording the video, it's preparing them with the graphics and also with the information. So I'm always kind of on the lookout, trying to keep on top of all the injuries and suspensions and everything else I need to know. So yeah, in terms of actually recording it, sitting down and recording it, could be half an hour, could be an hour. Sometimes I do most of it in one take or a few takes, but yeah, it really depends. I'd say up to an hour for recording. Nkuku and Solanke in for Gameweek 17, Ferguson and Darwin out. Not Nkuku for me. I mean, that's really a big question mark. And I know the Sheffield United fixture looks amazing. The fixture run for the next couple looks good, but not for me. I'd rather go for Solanke, even Cunha at this moment in time, not to mention Watkins, who should be on everyone's radar if you saw them recently. As for Ferguson and Darwin out, I think I just do Ferguson to Solanke, and that's it. Yeah, Beardy, I'm an editor, sorry. So I basically edit people's work in terms of articles and features. If Haaland is fit, do you captain him? I mean, it's a consideration. You can't disregard Haaland completely, but I'd probably go for Salah right now. Simicas needs to go soon. I will start him versus United, then look to sell as he has Arsenal. Probably bench versus Burnley. Yeah, true. Yeah, that is true. I think on a wildcard video, I wouldn't go for him. I'd go for Trent instead. But I think you keep him against Man United. Old age pensioner says, oh, fair enough, Mr. Parky. Thanks for informing me on that. Dylan, I think we now see for all about luck, not stats. Imagine Bournemouth, Everton, and Fulham have the best results over the past. Well, I'm not just a stats person. I always try to, make my own observations. I think sometimes stats back up what you think, or they give you an insight into what could happen. I mean, you say that about stats, but if you actually think about it, statistics would have maybe pointed you towards Everton's resurgence, because even when they were losing games at the beginning, they were near the bottom of the table, their underlying numbers were amazing. And now they're translating into goals and also points on the board. So, yeah, I think with Fulham and Bournemouth, fair enough, you might be right. But with Everton, I think the stats actually back up what they're doing right now. What do you think about Saka to Son? It's a short-term move up until Gameweek 21. I think for the next two, I think Son outscores Saka, better fixtures and much higher ceiling, but long-term, I'd rather keep Saka still and sell someone else, but I can think of worse. Best captain next week, Salah first, Son second. If Haaland's fit, he's easily top 3, but I'm probably going for Salah first. I've seen you to change your Twitter name. Just the Twitter name, it just helps with the searches and stuff, I think. I mean, I might even change it back, but the username is still the same, DylanRCM. It's just the display name, I think it is. But yeah, I think right now I'm quite happy just to keep the channel name as it is, to be fair. I need to get Dalot out my defence for Porro, but I have Haaland up front with no one coming off the bench. Should I risk Haaland not playing so I don't take a -4? Well, either way, whatever you do in the end, I would just wait for as long as possible for the updates with Haaland, because if he's available for Gameweek 17, you don't want to sell him, especially for a hit. So yeah, I think with Haaland, you just wait for it. If he's confirmed out, or we get some inside information, then fair enough. You can just do it. Do Haaland to Watkins or even Solanke or something like that. But yeah, I think with Haaland, it's a difficult one, but I'd wait for more information. Do you realize there are less Spanish speakers in FPL compared to UCL Fantasy? Oh, for sure. I've noticed that, because in UCL Fantasy, there's a lot more questions in Spanish. In FPL, you kind of get the occasional one, and it's mainly English speakers saying something in Spanish. Thoughts on Willian, Tavernier and Richarlison? Richarlison's a no for me. Impressive today, but it has to take a lot for me to be convinced by him. And why go for Richarlison when you can go for Son and Pedro Porro to cover the Spurs players there? Willian, I'm a bit more open to. Same with Tavernier. Richarlison, though, not for me. Thanks, Dylan, for the content soon, UCL Fantasy. Thank you very much. Like I said, double upload tomorrow, best wildcard team and the team selection. And on Tuesday, there's the deadline stream. And there's also a best limitless team video out on the channel already. Can you say Porro one more time? Yeah, I've said it so much recently, and people are like, what? Just stop it, mate. But yeah, Pedro Porro. And it means weed in Spanish, by the way, just letting you know. Richard Milichip says 2 free transfers to sort out 3 red flags. Trippier, Douglas Luiz, Branthwaite. Already have Porro, Simicas, Lascelles. Any suggestions? I'd probably do tricky in your case, but I'd probably do Trippier to Trent, or I would go to Mikalenko. And then I would do Douglas Luiz, potentially, up to Gordon, Palmer. Hwang Hee-chan is still fairly decent. So there's a few players you can go to there. I'm not sure what budget you have to operate, but if you can, mate, Trippier to Trent would be ideal. And then you can upgrade Douglas Luiz, but I'm guessing you can't. I got knocked out of the cup. The guy had Senesi. Yeah, I think I got knocked out too. The guy had Son and Pedro Porro, so RIP. Wilson. He has been very impressive recently. I'm not sure if he's the most nailed-on option, but yeah, from Fulham, you've got Wilson, Andres Pereira, Willian, Iwobi, Jimenez. They're all looking good all of a sudden, but that's natural when you score 10 goals in 2 games. I don't think that's sustainable, of course, but they are in great form. I think they're worth considering. I'm not going for any of them myself. Maybe that explains my rank, but yeah, I think Wilson, probably the one I'm not going to really recommend. I'd rather look at Jimenez, Willian, to be quite honest with you. Newcastle players not good anymore. I wouldn't go that way. 2 away games. They're 16th in the table away from home. They've got one of the best home records. I think after the Champions League, they can just fully focus on the Premier League. So things will change. I think with Newcastle assets, they're not really desirable for the rest of the year. But from January onwards, I think our perceptions will change and they'll start getting more points. MBCFC says, transferred in Son from Mbeumo. Great stuff. I was going to wait for Son transfer swing after Newcastle, but because in Mbeumo I was forced into the move. I got 64 points this week, previously 90k. Yeah, you probably went up there, I'd imagine. Maybe not by much because of your rank, but that looks really good. Who do you think advances in the group of death? Borussia Dortmund, and I would say I'd probably still go for Paris Saint-Germain. That was my guess last week and the week before, so I'm going to stick with that. And I think actually when the draw came out, that's what I said. I think I went for Dortmund and PSG to go through. I was kind of stuck between well, Milan crossed my thoughts because of their heritage in the competition, but yeah, PSG Dortmund, I'll stick with that. This is my first time our vice captain becomes my captain, says Twisted Parky. Same here. At least the first time in a while. Would you do Gay to Porro and Bowen to Son on a -4? And do you think Son outscores Bowen? Son goes to the Asian Cup? Yes, I think the hit is worth it, and Son will outscore Bowen by 4 points or more from now until Game Week 21. Having said that, I like Bowen, but I think Son's worth it. Isak is first choice, although Wilson probably plays against Fulham. That's the problem, though. Rotation's going to be a big issue. Isak could come in the Champions League against AC Milan. Then, as you say, Wilson plays against Fulham. So it's just an avoid right now, that situation. Wilson, the best differential 11 next game week as a clip. I mean, I'd have to have a quick look at that, but best differential 11. Mikalenko would be up there, I guess. Let me have a quick look. Keep on smashing the like button and subscribing. We're getting closer towards 22k. But yeah, if we have a look here at differential players. Let's sort out by position. Goalkeeper, I would probably go for... I would go for Leno. I mean, he isn't a big differential, is he? But... yeah, I mean... Differential, I'd probably go for Pickford in goal, dare I say. Defenders... yeah, a bit trickier here, but I'd go for Mikalenko. Tricky one this, but yeah. Pickford, Mikalenko, Livramento would be another one. And if I had to pick a third, a bit trickier. We're really getting into some weird territory here. Yeah, I have to go for someone a bit more... I'd probably go for Colwill, dare I say as well. Not the best. Midfielders... differential midfielders. Still like Kudus. I'd probably put his name up there. Pascal Gross, even against Arsenal, not a bad shout. I think Kulusevski, I'm not a big fan of him, but as a differential, you know, you have to put his name in the hat there. John McGinn, I mean, he's not my favourite option, but differential, of course, once again. Yeah, I think Bailey, if he's available, Bailey would be another one. Yeah, I'd probably put Bailey's name in there too. In terms of forward differentials, you're probably looking at Solanke and Cunha. Yeah, those would be my favourites at the moment. I mean, it's kind of just a rough differential. I don't think I even gave an 11 there. I probably still need one more player. I had to give one more midfielder. I'm probably going for Luis Diaz against Man United. So there you go. Those are some differentials for you. Haaland not playing killed my team. Yeah, I also think the fact I got 40 points is also down to that in a way. Do you think Newcastle will make qualification? They've got a chance. I mean, I think they'll beat AC Milan despite their poor form. They're a different beast at St James's Park, but I also think PSG could get a result at Dortmund, and that's why I think PSG and Dortmund go through. PSG do not deserve to advance. I mean, you say that, but PSG were the much better team in that game. Yes, the penalty was BS, but they were the much better team. It should have been 2-3 nil probably, or 3-1. Is Dortmund good? I don't think they're particularly great. They were probably better. No, they were better last season. PSG can't play against Newcastle in both games. I think they were pretty good in the home game in match day 4, was it? Match day 5? Barca equalised. Not too surprised there. Many teams will struggle with AFCON Asian Cup, while Man United will be better without Onana. Damn, that's a bit harsh. Senesi, not for me. I don't trust Bournemouth defensively. I have Isak. Shall I play Garnacho or Gabriel over him? Nah. Garnacho against Liverpool? No chance. I'm not expecting anything from him. Gabriel, there's a shout, but I'd go for Isak still. The problem is he might not start and you might see a one-pointer, but off the bench, Isak and Wilson tend to make an impact, to be fair. Maybe. I'm just not really a big fan of Senesi overall. Tavernier is a good shout. I'm more open to the Bournemouth attackers, not the defenders or goalkeeper. Start free. I'd go for Tsimikas, Gabriel. Actually, sorry. I'd go for Pedro Porro, Lascelles, and Tsimikas there, and bench the first two. Porro's going up tonight. Should I do my moves? I'd still wait. Unless you're going to be priced out, it's worth waiting. Just check, got the Interscore spot on. Yeah, Killy beat Celtic. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And yeah, I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, but I think I know which team you're on about. Was tempted, but is a surprise. Thank you, Zerenes. Dylan, thoughts on the United group? Well, United just have left themselves all to do. I think Bayern Munich will go strong, and they're still the favourites to win that game. But Bayern Munich aren't that great, to be honest, and wouldn't surprise me if Man United got a result there. But they need the other game to be a draw. I think United are out. There is still a slim chance, but they need a lot to go their way. Only getting 33 this game week. Sad that I vice-captain Palmer. Yeah, Everton was always going to be a tough game. I thought Palmer could do something, but my prediction was 2-1 Everton. Wait, when Anana's at AFCON, who's the goalkeeper? I think it'll be a Turkish goalkeeper called Atle. I can't remember his second name. I think it ends with Sir. I'd have to double check, but yeah, Atle is the backup goalkeeper. I think they also have Tom Heaton, but I might be wrong about that. I think it'll be Atle coming in. What should I do? I have Taylor, Haaland, Johnston, all injured or suspended. Wait and see with Haaland. If he's out for Game Week 17, he'd be the priority. I'd also get rid of Johnston if you don't have a decent backup. So yeah, Johnston to Leno will be fine, and then you can do Haaland to Watkins, for example. No, I haven't watched any Europa League games, really. Not interested. Darwin or Solanke as third striker? Solanke. Long term, it'd have to be him. Yeah, Alte Bayende, that's it. Thank you very much. I forgot the second name. There were rumours that he was going to come in against Galatasaray at home. So this was back in match day 2. It didn't happen in the end. Actually, I might be wrong about that, right? Was it Copenhagen or... Yeah, there was a Champions League game where the rumours were that the Turkish goalkeeper, Alte, would come in for Onana, and it didn't happen in the end. I'm having a bit of an up and down season. I'm at 2 million rank. Have you got any tips to try and improve? Things sometimes come down to fine margins, but keep playing your game. I also think patience is always my key advice for people. You know, give your assets time to breathe. You might have got someone in this week or recently like Gordon and he's been disappointing. You've got to give them time and don't just chop and change and take hits constantly. So just keep playing your game, be patient, and the opportunities will come. And I was on a good run from Game Week 8 to Game Week 14. The last two have been awful for me, but there you go. You've got to take the red arrows as well and try learn from them. And sometimes you need luck. United have Heaton, Adley, and Vitek. Yeah, it's between Adley and Alte, and Heaton. What do you think of Arsenal versus Villa? I think Arsenal were the better team. They should have won the game, but if you don't take your chances, you always run the risk of losing. I think Havertz played very well. Would I go from an FPL? No, but he has been very impressive. He created 2 big chances. He should have scored himself. I think the goal was wrongfully disallowed. And overall, Saka is still the best Arsenal option. I wouldn't go for Havertz, but he was the best player in yesterday's game. And in recent games, he's been very good ever since he scored that win against Brentford. This round got 95 points. That's incredible if you got that amount of points this week. I've asked Captain Burn by mistake. Could have been a masterclass decision from me. Yeah, in the end, I'm very surprised by the result. I thought West Ham would score. Yeah, Fulham could have won the game. I can't remember what I went for in terms of predictions. I have to double check what I said, but I did not expect that. That's for sure. I hope he plays against Bayern, but it won't happen. Says Sahil. Oh yeah, well, let's wait and see. Genuinely fuming that captaining Salah as a punt doesn't matter anyways. Oh well. Oh yeah. Well, you still gain something, but just not as much with the vice-captaincy pulling through for a lot of us. Darwin and Diaby out, Son and Solanke in for a -4, worth it? I think so. I think Darwin will do well against Man United, but overall, good transfers. Is there any need to take 12-point hits? No. You don't need to go that far, especially with the way recent weeks have been going. I think Game Week 17 will be higher scoring, but a -12 is excessive. You would need a lot to go your way for it to pay off. Do you think United beat Bayern? No. It's possible. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think they will. Keep a hold Bruno Fernandes. He's a sell. Absolute sell for me. maybe I'll cover them in the transfer tips video later this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for new. Let's try to get this stream to over 100 likes and to keep on pushing towards 22k subscribers and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the links in the description below for the Patreon, Championships Discord server, the FPL League, and also Draft Town. Be sure to check all of them out. I'd highly encourage you to do so. I'll see you very soon for more UCL Fantasy and FPL content. So today I uploaded the best Limitless team for match day 6. So it was a double upload with this reaction stream. There's another double upload tomorrow with the best wildcard team for match day 6 in UCL Fantasy and the team selection. And then on Tuesday from 3:30 p.m. UK time, there's going to be the deadline stream for UCL Fantasy. And the plan is to do FPL content from Wednesday onwards, which could include the best wildcard team for Gameweek 17, the transfer tips, and also the team selection, and the usual streams, of course, that go with it, deadline stream and reaction stream. So thank you very much to everyone. Yeah, Christopher, I just mentioned that there. Thank you, Sahil. I'll see you very soon. Barca conceded again, says SOCLH. Yeah, they've been pretty awful recently, haven't they? Solanke or Cunha? I prefer Solanke, but Cunha, you have to give him credit. Very good option recently. Solanke is my preference. Thank you, Adam. Best Bruno replacements. Son and Saka for me would be the best replacements at a similar price. Solanke 100%, says Christopher. I agree. As a Madrid fan, I hope you get your prediction correct. Fair enough. Should have reached 100 likes. No worries, we can still do that after the stream is done. Some people watch it retrospectively. It's no big problem. And I'll see you for more content. I appreciate those that liked, subscribed, all the channel members and patrons. Big up to yourselves and those that send in super chats in most streams. I appreciate it. I'll see you very soon for more FPL and UCL Fantasy content. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your weekend. Not much long left, unfortunately. But good luck with the rest of the season.